So the first thing you got to be aware of how to identify the heart is to identify the anterior side and the posterior side. The way to do it is to identify the pulmonary trunk. Okay? Once you've identified the pulmonary trunk, it is on the anterior side, the top side of the heart. This is the interventricular groove right here. And it is reflected inside the heart in the interventricular septum. Okay? The apex of the heart, this is easy. This part is going to be the apex, and the top part is going to be the base. That's the fun part. Yeah, I always find it funny that the top of the heart is actually called the base of the heart. So the epicardium, endocardium, and myocardium. So the epicardium is going to be this shiny outer covering of the heart, okay? I did it for the last group. You can kind of see that covering moving. It's going to be pinned up, and the pin's going to go through that for you to see the endocardium, okay? The epicardium. The myocardium is the heart muscles, the brown stuff all over. Now, if I'm pinning right here, I'm pinning for the myocardium. I can pin for the myocardium anywhere I want, right? If I'm pinning right here, I'm pinning for the interventricular septum. So beware of that, okay? I can pin for the myocardium anywhere, but this is a specific structure, which is the interventricular septum, okay? The pericardial sac, you can't see it in the cow heart, but if you look at this heart right here, you can see the sac that is enclosing the heart, the fibrous sac. That's the pericardial sac, okay? So again, you can't identify it in this heart, but you can in there. And it may be pinned in there, so beware of that. The vessels, so you have this big muscular vessel, which is aorta. Then you have this floppy vessel right here in the back. This is going to be your inferior vena cava. It's a vena cava, so you have that. And that vessel right here is going to be the superior vena cava. And this is what I was showing. You can see my fingers will touch if I go through both of those vessels, okay? So this is the floppy one is going to be the inferior vena cava. The superior is going to be behind the aorta, okay? Of course, you can't in a test go put your fingers in and see if they touch or not, but just a fun fact. The pulmonary veins are going to be right here, these two holes right here. And if you actually open the heart up, you can see the pulmonary vein going into the left atria right here, okay? And this is the pulmonary trunk. We talked about that. And what else on the outside? The coronary sinus and the pulmonary semilunar valve, I'm not going to make you responsible for identifying those. You don't have to do that. The coronary sinus is somewhere, that's the one that drains the blood out of the coronary circulation and makes it go back to the right atrium. But you kind of have to go in and feel for it. It kind of feels like a belly button. It's weird. Anyways, you can't see that, so you don't have to worry about that. The pulmonary semilunar valve is going to be inside the pulmonary trunk. Again, you can't see it, so don't worry about those two. Now we'll move on to the inside of the heart. Pretty easy. What are those two chambers? The left ventricles, right? That's the bigger ventricle, and the one with the muscular walls. So that's going to be the left ventricle. That's going to be the right ventricle, right. Did I talk about the endocardium?
No.
Okay, so epi, myo, this is the endocardium. The shiny covering of the chambers, that's going to be the endocardium. Again, the shiny stuff is going to be pulled up and pinned through so that you can easily see that it's pinning the endocardium, okay? This is the left atrium and the right atrium, right here, okay? Valves. That is the bicuspid valve, and this is the tricuspid valve. You can see the flaps of skin are the valves, okay? And this right here, so this is the aorta going off of the left ventricle, and this is going to be where did it go? This is going to be the aortic semilunar valve. Okay? You are responsible for the aortic semilunar valve. You don't have to worry about the pulmonary one. And you need to know the functions of the valves. They prevent backflow of blood. So you need to know that. What are these? The chordae tendineae. Chordae tendineae, which is anchored by the papillary muscles. Again, beware, if I'm pinning right there, I'm pinning for the papillary muscle, not the myocardium. The myocardium I can pin anywhere I want.
More towards the outside of it?
Right.
Okay.
But if I'm pinning right at the base of the chordae tendineae, I'm pinning for the papillary muscles.
How you go pin for the ventricles?
The pin's gonna go right through. For the endocardium, the pin's gonna go
Sideways.
through the shiny material. Okay? Did I miss anything?
Bicuspid's on the left.
The bicuspid's on the left ventricle, and the tricuspid is on the right. Right. I think that's it. Any questions?